chunky. I don't actually want to read the blurb myself. If you like Brandon Sanderson, I think you'll like this. So I literally bought it on that premise. The old pirate hat. It reminds me of my favourite font, which is Garamond. It's quite a floppy one actually. Deborah would like this one. This is such a good TBR, I have to say. I'm like so excited for this one. Hello and welcome back to the video. My name is Kizzy and today I'm going to be doing my winter TBR. So if you remember a few months ago I did an autumn TBR because instead of doing like monthly TBR videos where I never read the things, they were always way too long, way too ambitious, I decided instead to split it up into kind of 3-month chunks for each season. I have to say they are mainly just fantasy books that I really want to read at the moment. I'm going to get straight into it in case it gets quite long this video. But starting off with the most recent books that I've bought, I got these mainly on the recommendations of 2 of my colleagues. The first one is Terry Pratchett's Mort. So Terry Pratchett is obviously kind of pioneering. He is genre defining of this fantasy genre. I've never read any of his work though, and my friend Caitlin said that instead of starting in the kind of publication chronological order, I should start with Mort, which is one of his best ones in the series, so then I can actually get to know his work at its best. This is obviously a series, but it's not one that you have to read in order, I don't believe. There are self-contained stories, a little bit like crime is a lot of the time, where each story has the same detective, but it's the same one kind of contained storyline. It's the 4th novel in the Discworld series. I'll read you the blurb. Death comes to us all. When he came to Mort, he offered him a job. Henceforth, death is no longer going to be the end, merely the means to an end. It's an offer Mort can't refuse. As Death's apprentice, he'll have free board, use of the company horse, and being dead isn't compulsory. It's a dream job, until he discovers that it can be a killer of his love life. So I think these are meant to be just kind of like fun weird fantasy books. And I really want to read one of Terry Pratchett's books. Like, he's someone I really want to enjoy and love. So I am excited to get into this. They're not long. This is 317 pages long, so definitely should be achievable. Next we have another one that I know nothing about, and I'm not even going to read you the blurb because I don't actually want to read the blurb myself because I kind of want to go into it knowing absolutely nothing. It's chunky, but it is the Black Prism by Brent Weeks. This was recommended to me by Debs. We were literally in the bookshop. She pointed it to it and said, if you like Brandon Sanderson, I think you'll like this. So I literally bought it on that premise. That was it. This is 735 pages, so it's a little bit heftier than the other one, but I really want to read this. I don't know why, I think because it's newly bought. When you newly buy something, you do just want to read it straight away. But annoying thing is that you're normally in the middle of 500 other books, which is what my case is, so I can't, so I won't. Actually, the next book I also have is recommended to me by a colleague who also really loved this book and also raved about it. I don't know that much about it, except that it's kind of alternative historical London with magic in it. It's Jonathan Strange and Miss Norelle. This is another very big book. I haven't given it an easy go. This is over 1,000 pages long, this book, but it's meant to be phenomenal. It's kind of meant to be written as if it was in Jane Austen era, but it emulates that kind of literature style. I want to read it. It's one that's been on my mind for a while. Now that I have it and it's sitting on my shelf and I keep looking at it, I want to dive into it, and I do like a big book. I do like really getting into a book and being committed to it, and I loved Susan Clarke's Piranesi. It was one of my favourite books of the other 2021, I think I read it in. It's a lot shorter than this one. She went to the complete opposite direction. But I thought it was brilliant. Really weirdly brilliant. Really weirdly brilliant, but brilliant all the same. The next one is Proof, that I was very kindly sent to by the publishers, Harper Voyage, and I'm so excited to get to this. It is like one of my most anticipated books ever. I've never been so excited to read a book. It is the new book by S.A. Chakraborty, who wrote the City of Brass trilogy. I have it in my hands. It's incredible. I've never been so excited. So this is the adventures of Amina al-Sarafi, I think, and it's about pirates. It's about a pirate who should be retiring by now. She's made a lot of money. She's got a lot of legends behind her. It's time to hang up the old pirate hat. But one of her old colleagues' friends is in trouble or kidnapped or something like that, and she's persuaded to go on one final voyage to earn a little bit more money, and kind of like she can't let this one down. So she does this, and obviously I don't think it goes quite to plan, but it's even the same font as the City of Brass trilogy, and I like it. I like just seeing it again. You know, it's so satisfying. It's a lovely font. It reminds me of my favourite font, which is Garamond. I'm just so excited to read this. I will be reading this as soon as I can. It comes out in March of 2023, so it's a little bit before this quarter, a little bit after even this quarter is finished, technically. But obviously I want to read it before so then I can like review it and show you guys a reading vlog when it's actually published. So that will be really exciting. Stay tuned for that. I'm going to do a full reading vlog of my thoughts and a review at the end of it. So whether or not you like reading vlogs or prefer reviews, that video will hopefully cater to all. The next book is a continuation of a series. I'm trying to continue and finish more series, and I just love this dude so much. Like, he is the greatest person ever. I say this about a lot of my authors, they are my people, my favourite authors. But Joe Abercrombie's Red Country is the second standalone in the same world of his First Law trilogy and world. I need to read this before I can then read the next trilogy. And this is another quite short one, but I will be buddy reading it again with Debs and Caitlin from work. So I'm excited to get back to this world and see these characters. I think, from what I've heard, I've read the best of his series, and I did absolutely love A Best Served Cold, which is the other standalone before this one. I'm not going to go into what this is because if you've watched any of my other recent videos, I will probably have told you about this book a million times, or this series a million times, and I do not want to bore you to death again, so I'm not going to. But this one is, I'm just so excited. This is such a good TBR, I have to say. I'm like so excited for this one. The next two are the books that they're kind of at the bottom of my TBR pile. They're most likely to get pushed aside, which is sad because they're two books that I would love to read, but just not quite as, I just don't have as much enthusiasm as I do for the ones I've just talked about. But the first one is Malice by John Gwynne. This is part of a quartet, I believe. The first book in a quartet, and he's meant to be brilliant, John Gwynne. So we'll see if I get to this one. I think it's kind of just epic war fantasy. Don't know much about it. Shall I read you the blurb of this one? Let's read the blurb of this one. The banished lands have a violent past, where enemies of men and giants clashed in battle. An uneasy peace reigns, but now giants stir once more. The very stones weep blood, and there are sightings of gigantic rims. Those who can still read the signs see a prophecy realised. Sorrow will darken the world as angels and demons make their battlefield. Young Corbin watches enviously as boys become warriors and yearns to join them, determined that he will make his family proud. It is only when everything he knows is threatened that he discovers the true cost of becoming a man. As the kings look to their borders and priests beg answers from the gods, only a few chosen know that the fate of the world will be decided between two champions, the Black Sun and the Bright Star, and that with their coming will be a war that ends all wars. So yeah, it's kind of like just an epic fantasy. You've got war, you got fighting, you've got destiny, hero trope potentially. It just sounds quite a good fantasy ride. And then the next one is one I've had for a while. It's quite a floppy one actually. Deborah would like this one. And this is The Master of Sorrows by Justin Call. I've had this one for a while now. I don't know why I haven't read it. This is about an academy, of magic academy, people with magic. I don't know. Let's read the blurb again. The Academy of Shenbalu has stood against magic for centuries. Hidden from the world, acting from the shadows, it trains its students to detect and retrieve magic artifacts, which it jealously guards from the misuse of others. Because magic is dangerous, something that heals can also harm, and a power that aids one person but may destroy another. Of the Academy's many students, only the most skilled become avatars, warrior thieves capable of infiltrating the most heavily guarded vaults, and only the most determined are trusted to resist the lure of magic. More than anything, Aniv Debreth wants to become one of them. So, we've got a thieving thing, we've got infiltrate heist maybe, I'm getting a little heist vibes perhaps with this vault thing, and magic schools. So there's a lot of cool things, and a lot of things that I haven't read about in fantasy in quite a while, and a lot of tropes that I enjoy. So I'm excited about this one. I think it'll be good, and it's about time I read it. That's the TBR for winter. It's all epic fantasy, but that's the mood I'm in at the moment, so hopefully I will be for the next 3 months. Thank you again for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in another one very soon.